Hello and welcome to another fly tying session with your host Scott. In this session we're going to be tying a fly called the Priest, which is basically on the next page to the Green Whale's Glory. It's that one there. The book I'm using is this one, the Trout and Salmon magazine's 220 favourite flies, which I believe there was two runs. The first run was in 1998, I believe. I'm just looking now, yes. And then there was a second publication in 2002. It's a pretty extensive book. It's got salmon flies, sea trout flies, river trout flies, still water trout flies, and it doesn't give you any tying instructions. It just gives you the basic materials that you need to do it. Now the basic materials for this one, if you want to tie it properly, because I won't be tying it exactly to the recipe, is a size 14 hook, black thread, tail red wool or a slip of dyed red feather. The body is a flat silver tinsel. There's a silver wire rib just to protect that body, and then the hackle is going to be a badger hen. I'm going to be using partridge for the hackle. I think that might look a little bit better. And I'm going to stick with the red feather for the tail. The rest of the pattern will be exactly as prescribed. So there we are. So in the vise we have a B405 in size 14, which is a bit ambitious really for me. I don't think I've tied a tinsel rib on such a small hook before, so you'll be seeing something new from me. Obviously I've got a silver wire. This is Vineyard size 27, I believe, again. Black thread in 8/0. I'm using a gauge 14. It's gold one side, silver the other. Tight gold side up and you'll be able to wind it silver side down. For the tail, I'm just going to use a small feather from this cape. And that's it pretty much. This is hopefully, assuming the body goes well, it should be a quick and easy one to do. So we're going to come in at the eye and get the thread started. At this point I'm going to tie the wire in. Now the key with tinsel bodies is to keep the body as slim as you can and as even as you can, mainly because if there's any lumps or bumps, the tinsel just will not wind properly. Now keeping the wire tight on the spool, trim your desired length off, because it will just spring off the spool and completely ruin it. I've just pulled a short length off. I'm going to tie it in quite close to the eye there. There we go, just a head length away. And I'm going to go down to where the bend starts. Now I'm going to get a very small feather off the cape, probably one literally right down the bottom of the cape, which on the bird would be at the top of the neck, just before the head, if it still had its head. So it's up here, and I think we'll have the tail the length of the body. In the book it's describing this fly as a Grayling fly. Obviously it's got a red tail, so that's probably why. So that's tied in. We're going to cut that the length of the body. To keep the body even. And then we're going to get a length of the flat tinsel. This is a Mylar tinsel by Uni. The other key to tying tinsel bodies is to actually tie it in at the head, go down to the tail and come back up again. That way you've got a good chance of getting a nice well covered body there. There we go. Now you want to do touching turns but not overlapping turns. If it overlaps, it ends up with a load of lumps in it. Getting it round the point of the hook is the hard part. So just guide it with your finger. Do a full turn at the base of the tail and then come back up. There's a very similar fly to the butcher really, in the way it's tied. If I was to put a hackle in here and a wing, it would basically be a butcher. So there we are, that's the tinsel tied in. Then we're going to wind our silver rib. This just holds the tinsel in place so it doesn't slip in the flow. You could use glue if you didn't want to use the wire. Tie the wire in at the head as well. There we are. Hold the thread tight, give it a wiggle and it snaps away. And then tidy up ready for the hackle. So again we're going to use a partridge feather, a small one. That looks like a nice one. Now these fibres are extremely weak and we need to be very, very careful with them. Otherwise they'll break. You want to get the point of the feather with your hackle pliers, your traditional ones. I always, even if you don't wind hackles with them, they're worth having. I don't wind hackles with them anymore. I find them a bit too unreliable. They either slip or break the hackle for me. That's probably because I'm just heavy-handed, a bit of a klutz. We've exposed the point and we're going to tie it in at the point, like so. Trim away. Then we're going to wind it. I may have made my life a bit difficult here because I think it's the bend of the feather is going that way. Could have done with going the other way really, but we'll work with it. There we go. So you want to brush the fibres back and wind. And there we go, it's broke again every time. Let's get another feather. To save bulk, just go back to the point where you tied in the feather. Grab yourself another feather. Get rid of the fluff. Let's see if we can find a meatier part of the point. They're such a soft feathered bird. I'm just going to go in and wind this without bothering to brush it back. I'll let the thread do the work on that one. It's in. Cut away the stalk. There's a few there on. Oh, sorry, it's gone. I thought it was a fluffy one that I forgot to pull off. Brush it back between finger and thumb. And start making your head. There we are, that looks not too bad. And then we're going to whip finish, which I've started doing regularly now. 1, 2, 3. And there we have it. Trim away and then varnish. It's the first time I've tied one of these, and I've got to say it looks not half bad. I'm quite happy with that. There we go, and that's the priest. Thank you all very much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye bye for now.